Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah channel. You're tuned in to the Sajdah Morning Coffee Talk. I need y'all up in here today because I'm a little sleepy. Okay, so we'll be back in a couple of minutes. I just have a few announcements, things like that. So be a friend, tell a friend, and I'll see you in a few. Oh, I didn't even tell y'all what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about making sure that your actual business has multiple income streams. There you go. Now we'll see you in a few.
O Allah, guide me among those whom Thou hast guided aright, and preserve me among those whom Thou hast preserved, and befriend me among those whom Thou hast befriended. Bless me in whatsoever Thou dost grant me, and deliver me from the evil of what Thou hast judged. Surely Thou judges, and none can judge against Thee, and he whom Thou befriendest is not disgraced. Blessed art Thou, O Lord, and exalted be Thee above what they set up besides Thee. I bear witness, nothing deserves to be served besides Thee, and I bear witness that Muhammad is Thy servant and apostle. Amen.
The Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who in my judgment is the master historian, taught us that of all our studies, history is the most attractive, and it is best qualified to reward the researcher. History is most attractive. Why should history be most attractive? Because history is the recorded time of the human family in its struggle to overcome obstacles. There is no life that is without struggle. The Holy Quran teaches us that man, meaning man and woman, is made to face difficulties. And after difficulty comes ease. But it is history that guides us through difficulty. For if you know how people who had difficulty yesterday got through, and if your difficulty is somewhat similar, then today we also can get through if we follow the guidance of history. This is why Carter G. Woodson and many of our black giants fought for black people to know our history. Because in not knowing our history, we don't have a guide. And without a guide, we are lost. No wonder the Bible
Assalamu alaikum, family. Welcome to the Sajdah channel. It's a sleepy morning for me, y'all. I was up late working on some stuff. Like literally, I looked up and it was 1 a.m. And I was like, oh, I get up in 3 hours. Let me go lay down. But that wasn't enough sleep because I was already tired when I sat down to do the work. So I just got to get some energy. As soon as I started thinking about the wonderful blessings that I have in front of me to be able to be doing what I believe is authentically me and all of that, I don't get tired, but I have to force myself to rest. So welcome to the channel. We talked yesterday about healthcare, went through some business models, and I wanted to sort of add on to that discussion today with a conversation about multiple income streams. Now, most of us are familiar with that phrase, right? Because, most of us have either been in some type of network marketing, or I think I've done everything like that under the sun. Or we've had somebody pitch to us to try to get us to be a part of it. And one of the things that they say is you should make sure you got multiple income streams, right? And so individually, I think a lot of us get it. We got our jobs and a lot of people got the side hustle. I think we getting that. But within our businesses, I'm not seeing that we got that memo, right? Look, let's face it. We live in a world today where employment and jobs is not as stable as it was for our parents when they were going through the Industrial Revolution. What does that mean? A lot of our parents worked on their jobs 20, 30, 40 years, retire with a lot of seniority and things like that. We don't oftentimes have that luxury. I think I read somewhere that the average amount of time that a person stays at a company is between 3 and 5 years. That's short. So because we know that we could be working for a company, they could go under, they could merger, and I think we're going to see a lot of shift in employment as well with the changes in DEI. I think more of our senior corporate people are going to be thinking about and opting for entrepreneurship because, companies are like, look, we don't even have to show favoritism anymore. And in essence, most of the time, by the time we get to that point, we're more qualified, overqualified, and worked. I mean, I got entrepreneurs that I know who are the president of their company and they're still sweeping the floors. They're still sending the emails. Why? Because they may not have that top-notch executive person that a cultural counterpart may have. There's a certain revenue stream that you get to as a Black person that is a very lonely space, because when you're looking for somebody that you could kind of have synergies with, it can be difficult. I was having this conversation with a good friend of mine last night, and he and I were talking about this very thing and providing resources for those of us at that level, where you're still grinding, you're still working, but in terms of your business level, your experience level, the depth in your field, your revenue stream, that kind of thing, it can be a tough, lonely road. So what do I mean by multiple income streams in your business? And I like talking about this by using examples. Okay. If you are selling a service, let's say you're a public speaker. So sometimes I go out, I get invited to speak places. Sometimes they pay me. Sometimes I don't charge anything, depending on the organization. Sometimes it'll be a small honorarium. Sometimes it might be a little bit bigger. Okay. And I'll go out and speak or do webinars or presentations, things like that. And I'm not making a presentation so that I can get you to access my services. It's a little different. Like sometimes if you're a financial advisor, if you're a salesperson, you're doing presentations all the time with the idea that one, you're going to educate, and two, you're going to gain a customer from it. This is where I'm talking about where you're invited in to just speak. And what you do hope is that, you know, you will get customers out of it, but that's not the purpose of the presentation. So I get those. And so what else are you selling? You go there, you stand on the stage, you do your webinar, you wow the people. What else do you sell? Is it retail items like a book? Do you have a companion book? Is it a sweatshirt, a t-shirt? What is it? And I try to have several different products that I offer that are branded, specifically connected to me and my spirit and what I like. I started, instead of trying to sell what's hot, I'll make an offer of something that works with my personality. So I have the Sajdah oud oils, and some of you are ordering those. Thank you so much. And so I have the oud oils. I have that represents me, right? My scent, my vibe. That's an additional income stream if I go to these events. I have my books. Then I have other services that I'm also selling, whether it's my business scaling services or just your general coaching services. And then within the coaching range, I have different categories. So that's multiple income stream. That's with a service or a virtual space that can be converted into a physical space. But let's say you have a restaurant and you sell food, but what else are you selling? Right? I think like places like Hard Rock Cafe are a great example of that. I think every restaurant should have something at the front checkout desk, the hostess station, or up near the front that they sell that is something that can help people remember their experience with you. Whether it's a t-shirt that just has your company name on it, whether it's a coffee mug, whether it's an apron, you have to figure out what, you can use and you can do that kind of personalizes it to you. But that multiple income stream is important. Many of us are focused on that one product. Now, I don't want to walk in your business and see 50 different things that are unrelated to your business. So I'm not encouraging you to create like a Cracker Barrel type of thing in front of your business, because oftentimes that can be very inventory intensive. You got to have a lot of volume, excuse me, like they do in order to pull that kind of thing off. But if you have the volume and you could do it and it kind of flows with your business, then, do it. People will pay for experiences. When I was a Massage Envy franchisee, we did massages and facials. And with the facials, the estheticians were instructed to come out and they got a commission if they helped to sell some of the retail products. Because you go get your facial, you create this beautiful look and you want to keep it. And so we say, okay, you're coming back in, 30 days, 60 days, whenever that person's coming back. In the meantime, let's use these products on your skin. Might be a skincare system, might be some kind of serum that you notice that they needed. Hey, you're a little dry and this is for, moisturizing your skin, or hey, this is for something to help tighten your skin. Whatever, you can make that offer to the client. But I want you thinking about that multiple income stream, that thing that represents your business, but then also represents you. Everybody should have that. There should be no if, and, or buts about it. Everybody should have it. If you're a coffee shop, you could be selling coffee. You can white label a coffee brand. A lot of people do that, and that's their business. But you can, even if it's not the coffee you serve, you can white label coffee and sell it right there in the front. You can sell it with some cute little coffee mugs with your business name on it. Or maybe the vendor that you buy your coffee from will white label the coffee for you. White labeling simply means that somebody else is manufacturing the product and you're paying for the rights to sell that product, and they're putting your label and stuff on it. And when you're white labeling, especially food products, things like coffee and teas, you just want to make sure that the quality is there, right? You don't want people to come into your coffee shop and have this amazing cup of coffee and they want to take that home with them, but they can't, right? If you have an ice cream shop, encourage people to get some to go. Sell some little bowls. But figure out some way to increase that revenue stream. That's why when you're like at the checkout at like Home Goods and TJ Maxx and all of that, when you get to the checkout, there's like all this stuff like right there at the front that you're like, oh man, you find yourself like engrossed in that stuff. The candles, the little pot holders and all of that stuff. Again, I'm not asking you to be that excessive, but what I am saying, make sure that you have some kind of branded items that people can purchase from you. We did this even in our clinics as doctors' offices. Even in our clinics, we had, coffee mugs, and we sold out of those coffee mugs. We did something funny one year and we put my business partner on the coffee mug, and man, people bought those things so quickly. We put, the company logo and information and then put a picture of him on there. Those things sold out. We were reordering. In a vascular center, we were selling compression socks. That was something that instead of us saying to the client, look, you need to go out, and get your compression stockings. We say, look, we got them right here at the front. And everybody knew, and we would give commission to people who would sell. So that's something that you could do. It doesn't matter what business you have. If you have a business that has a mission, we talked yesterday about some companies, some doctors that have offices, but they're really community health offices. Maybe you put some kind of shirt together, something that represents your movement. One thing that I found that works a lot is those grocery shopping bags, because everybody needs them. Unless you're constantly going to the store, they're going to be charging you 9 cents, 10 cents, or whatever it is. But people like repping their place, right? And so instead of letting Target and Home Depot be the bag of choice, get you some personalized, the shopping bags or the totes. People love those. And they will take those left and right. They really, really love them. When I would have events and I look for a sponsor, let's say I know that I'm going to have a certain amount of people there, I'll have a sponsor to cover the cost of a shopping or a tote bag. And then that way you could give them out for free. And that's just kind of walking advertising for your business. I've had people call me because somebody saw them in the grocery store with one of my tote bags on. It works. I've had patients who see somebody at the grocery store and it said, minimally invasive vascular center. And they go, oh, and I think I put on there like leg pain, leg swelling, some of the symptoms. And people literally, like I saw this lady in the grocery store with the shopping bag. Okay. So having those multiple items, and it doesn't have to all be retail items. I'm just using that, as an example. If you're a DJ, offer people your playlist, something to remember you. So when they leave your space or leave your retail space or leave your virtual space, they take a piece of you or have the opportunity to take a piece of you with them. Okay. And I encourage us to support. I think I saw this at play so well during Michelle Obama's Becoming tour. And out front, they had retail space, a lot of stuff with her picture on it, her name, her favorite restaurant, all of this. And let me show you how those things work. One of my favorite restaurants was one of her sponsors, a place I literally would just, especially when I was so busy just building, running there, grabbing something every day almost. And when I saw that they were one of her sponsors, it was one of her favorite things, and they had the gift bags and they had a little coupon for the restaurant in there. And I was like, oh, hey, I got the bag, went up to the retail. I think I spent probably $300 or $400. And honestly, I don't even know where that stuff is. But it was an additional income stream for whoever was putting on the production, because we all wanted that stuff. I mean, the line was long to buy her book, to get a t-shirt, to get an ink pen. She had some journals. I mean, it was good. And so when I saw that, I was like, man, that is so sweet. And, some people say, oh, that's kind of tacky, but you need those multiple income streams. You'd be surprised. I was talking to a potential client the other day, and we were having this conversation, and she was saying, I ain't got time to be hawking no t-shirts or doing this or that. And I said, well, you don't really have to hawk them. You're going to just place them in a classy way in the front. She has a bakery. In the front of your bakery, you could even do a little apron. You could package up some of your muffins or little cakes in a nice thing and then have those sitting up there. But she had reached such a high level of success, she really just didn't feel like hustling. And she said to me, when you first told me to do this, I thought, I'm too good to be doing this. She said, this is some old Muslim hustle thing. I said, okay. I said, just try it. She said that the retail in the front of her store had gotten to the point where it was paying her utility bill. And I said, yeah. I said, don't diss smaller streams of income, because so many times I meet us, especially in coaching sessions, and we're thinking about money, and we're thinking about, oh, I got to get this 10 million. I got to get this 5 million. Well, what about multiple income streams that might get you there, or that just might put you in a position where it's putting a little extra money in your pocket? You could do some extra marketing. You could pay a cell phone bill. You can treat your staff to a lunch, and then eventually it'll grow. But don't ever think, you got to think of the multiple income streams for your business the same way you do for yourself. Always have something that you can toggle between virtual and physical, for example. So we never know when things are going to shut down again. The shutdown, the COVID-19 shutdown really, really hurt us in the spa industry. And it hurt us because, especially at that time, I was in Montgomery County, Maryland, not knowing what was going to happen. And so people aren't paying their memberships. That was one of the reasons why I ended up going, okay, not only did I move back to Chicago, and that's a very hands-on business, it made sense because of how the COVID-19 shutdown impacted the business. But not knowing, so you never know if that kind of shutdown is going to happen. You never know what regulatory bodies are going to do, what they're going to say. So have that way in which you can be nimble and transform your business. If you do have a spa, and you know what I would have liked to have seen, which is what they tried to do initially, which is kind of tough, was have you limit the number of people that you could have inside of your spa at one time. The challenge with that is if you can only have 1, 2, or 3 people in there. We actually had 16 rooms, so it was a little bigger, a little easier for us. But if you have a spa that's got only like 4 rooms and they tell you you got to go every other room, you can only do 2 clients an hour. You still got to pay for your front desk and all of this other stuff. So you want to have something that you sell of value to your customers as they're walking out of the door. The idea is for them to take a piece of the experience with them. Look at Starbucks. You walk in, they got the small little retail section, and I have so many coffee mugs. I'm an avid coffee mug collector. Like I have so many that I had to like break them down. We're going to take some over to Sajdah house, and I have some here that I can kind of play around with. But when I go into Starbucks, I don't know what they call it. It's the series that has the locations. So I have like Starbucks Beijing, I have Paris, all the different states. And I'm not necessarily a huge over the top Starbucks fan, but I just loved collecting them. So if you're advancing, I was looking at how Sip and Savor here in Chicago, which is a coffee franchise, is really expanding into some great neighborhoods. And I said they need a coffee series that has the different 77 neighborhoods of Chicago on it. So they need the Sip and Savor Bronzeville and the Sip and Savor Hyde Park and Garfield Park or wherever, South Loop, wherever they have it. That would be really cool. And people would collect those. But I'd be curious to see, we probably can pull the public reportable financial statements from Starbucks, and we can see how much they make on retail. All of that I'm saying to say, family, is that just like you have to do in your individual business, in your business, whether you're selling a product or service, make sure you create multiple streams of income. I also want to say this to you guys, because I've been running into this for years with my new entrepreneurs. Make it easy for somebody to pay you. Okay. I remember hiring someone to do a service for me. This was years ago. And I really liked, his work, just a great personality, good person to be around. And the most difficult thing was trying to figure out how to pay him. He's like, look, can you go to the bank? Can you make the deposit for me? Can you put the check under a rock at the second bus stop on 5th Street? There was just all of this, right? And I said to him, I said, look, you got to make it easy for people to pay you. Same thing today. I was going to work with somebody, and he says, well, I only take this particular form of payment through this. And I said, well, I don't have that. I can't remember what it was. It wasn't Zelle, but it was another one. I said, you can't expect me to sign up and go through everything, connect my bank account to this app that you use just to pay you. You got to come up with some other ways. So that's why I always tell people, look, you can book online with me. You can pay via Cash App. You can pay with Zelle. You can ACH. You can drop off a check. I can come pick it up. You can bring cash. You can bring diamonds. Look, I'm available. But a lot of times we don't do that. I see people all the time, and I say, okay, well, how, what's your method of payment? And they don't have it together. They don't have it set up. they can't receive. And so that's a really, really important thing. But same thing with your personal, don't put all your eggs in one basket. You may have the majority of your eggs in a basket, but all of them, shouldn't and can't be there. I think about people who are real estate agents in areas that are hit with natural disasters, right? Like Los Angeles or out east with the tornadoes, sometimes in Texas or Louisiana where there's like flooding and things like that. You have to figure out during that times how to pivot. Then you have to keep your ear to the communication levels of your industry so that when to pivot and what everybody's doing and what they're going into and how they're helping their clients and how the business and how the industry is shifting as a result. So, you want to remember that. What's your other income stream? What other services will you be able to offer during that disastrous time? Because if your area just flooded or just caught on fire, the chances of you being able to necessarily sell something, but what other services can you offer from a real estate standpoint? A lot of people won't have money, or their money will be so tied up with dealing with and responding to the disaster, they may not be able to pay you for your services. So how do you keep your name relevant and keep yourself out there and also not, just spend all your time volunteering? It's a balance, but you got to keep your ear to the streets so that you know what's hot and what's not. All right. Any questions on that? Let me know. But multiple income streams for your business. I want you all right now, all of us out there who are entrepreneurs, what is that thing that you can sell? If you work in a job, you working downtown somewhere, what's that thing that represents your hobby that you could be selling? Because it's so easy nowadays to buy the items, have them in your house, put a little link up on your social media pages or on your a QR code up there or something like that. And people will say, oh, I like that. I like those t-shirts, or I like that little bag, or I like whatever. And then they can click on there and order them from you. So it's not going to hurt. You'd be surprised that might turn into that big business windfall that you're looking for. So you might be looking to win the big lottery, but you might be sitting on the lottery with the ideas. The minister said that each and every one of us has a multi-million-dollar idea in our head. Sometimes we just don't believe in ourselves. That's important. So even sometimes those of you who do certain things, like you might have a hobby that you're really into. You may be a survivor of something, of some trauma. Well, guess what? That you can be paid to coach, to counsel, to consult. And that's one of the things that I will help you do if you book a session with me. We'll figure out, what can you offer? Because there's nothing like having receipts, right? You always have people out here, especially in the internet, people are coaching and consulting and talking and blah, 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 but they don't have any experience. And then a lot of you all are falling for it. And then you call me, hey, I saw this person online. They said that they could do XYZ for me. I paid them, however much you paid them, probably $3,000-$4,000. And then they come to me and say, well, what do I do? Because I feel like I just wasted my money. And I said, you didn't waste your money. They gave you what was commensurate to their experience in the industry or whatever. I said, but that ain't what you needed at the time. You needed somebody who understood your industry, who had been there, or could put you in touch with somebody who had been there so that you could get some real advice, because that person who hasn't necessarily been where you've been can't really give you examples or really help you build the way you may you may need to build. So that's why I always say I'm a coach with receipts. So with so many years as a business consultant, working in so many companies, moving in and out of from project to project, from mergers and acquisitions and all of that, you get a big, broad professional muscle about a lot of different industries over the years. But a lot of you are still crazy enough to be going, oh, this is my business coach. Well, what is that person coaching you in? What can they really impart to you vibrationally? And that's what you're paying for. If this person's really good at selling online, then that vibrationally, they probably can transfer over to you relatively easily. If that person's just a really good motivator and they can get you to a certain point, then that's what you're paying for. But don't hire somebody without a lot of experience and expect them to give you the pie in the sky, and now your business is going to be at a multi-million-dollar level if theirs isn't, because they can't get you there if they have not accessed how to get you there. It's why I was saying at the beginning that my friend and I were talking about putting together this type of networking and mentorship for people who are already on their way to being a millionaire, or who are right there, or who are trying to now become a multi-million-dollar business. Because right in that gap is where it becomes difficult to find somebody, to help you. That's actually my sweet spot. I don't mind working with startups or smaller businesses, as long as you're willing to do what you have to do to get to that point. But my sweet spot is the people who are already making $650,000 a year and are right in that $650 to $2 million range, and they're trying to make it to that multi-million-dollar level, because it's a grayer field, depending on what your product or service is. It's also a little lonelier, because you may not have a lot of people to talk to about that kind of stuff. Now, I like working with entrepreneurs who say, look, right now, at the most I've made is $150,000, $200,000 a year. That's kind of like I'm basically just owning my salary, which is great. It's a great start, but you got to be willing to do the things and be the person and implement the stuff that you need to implement to get yourself up to that next level. And those are the people I like working with. From a coaching standpoint, you got to just be coachable. Okay. Be somebody that when I walk away from a coaching session with you, whether it's emotional intelligence, money psychology, you name it, whatever you want to get coached on. If you just want general coaching from a business and spiritual standpoint, if you want just that kind of authenticity coaching, just be that person that will do what you have to do to get to that next level. Don't let us walk away from you going, oh, well, they ain't going to do it. But yeah, so multiple income streams, and be smart when you're hiring coaches, advisors, consultants. Find out their background. And it's not that you can't hire them, but you got to understand what you're buying. Okay? Understand what you're paying for. Understand what they have experience in. Understand what they've done that maybe you admire, that you're aspiring to. And understand that that can be the service that they're transferring, even though the name is similar. So, I've had people say to me, oh, this introduced me and say, oh, this is my business advisor or my business coach. And then somebody else will say, oh, well, this is my business advisor or business coach. But that person may never have built a business, but they're good at selling retail products because they've sold a lot of retail products, online or whatever. That is two different services, but the same sort of pop culture title, if you will. So yeah, I just wanted to share that with you all. Multiple income streams, very, very important. Let's see. Tomorrow, I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I'll try to go to sleep at a decent time tonight so that I can vibrate up on something that I think you all will want to talk about. And feel free to let me know. All right. So also, if you are interested in finding out what we're doing for Savior's Day 2025, go to the website, join the mailing list. We are also looking for event sponsors. We're doing 2 receptions for coin holders, members of the Black Muslim Business Directory, and sponsors. And if you want to be an event sponsor, like you want to, have your item in the gift bag. If you want to be a signature sponsor where, your company name is and QR code to buy your services right there is placed strategically throughout the reception. Then there's a way you can do that too. When you go to the website, when it says about booking a tour, just hit that, and then we'll send you some information about the tour, the sponsorship opportunities, or you can just email me directly at sajdahhouse@gmail.com. Just in the subject line, put sponsor an event. And event sponsorship start at $250. You may want to sponsor some staffing, some refreshments, or something like that for one of the events. There'll be private events. We're going to be sending that information out. What else? But go to the website. You'll see some additional information there and how to do it. We are right now, our experienced reps are talking to people about volunteering to assist. Again, this is all very private. But if you're hearing this, you probably are part of that private group. If not, just stay tuned and we'll try to broadcast and tell you about as much as possible leading up to it. We got a lot of work to get us there. And so this sleepy look that you seeing from me this morning, you might see it more often. Okay, family. Listen, thank you. Wishing you all more goodness than you've ever received or imagined. Remember, it's not personal, y'all. Say it again. It's not personal. It's vibrational. All right. We'll see you all tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Central Time, right here on the Sajdah Wendy Muhammad YouTube channel. Check out this commercial. Go check out our virtual gift shop. Get you some stuff. We're fulfilling orders today. So if you got anything you want to get it in this morning before we drop everything off to be sent out to you. All right. Peace and blessings.